Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We're getting ready for the rebound and how to seize the opportunities as the market improves. Thanks to RISMedia and everyone there who brings us such timely topics that we need as leaders and sales professionals across our nation to come together and be together. Again, I'm Deanne Golden, President and CEO at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Georgia Properties, and I am just really honored and excited today to be here with Shauna Alt, who is the CEO at First Weber, Inc., and we'll be spending a lot of time getting to know Shauna and hearing some great things that are happening in her world as she helps everyone move forward. And then next, our panelist is Scott McDonald, who is president of Remax and Gateway. And Scott's going to be bringing us some really great ideas, and you're going to be really intrigued with some of the things he's bringing for his agents. And today would not be possible, of course, without our partners that make this available to you complimentary. And today we are very honored to have our sponsor spokesperson, Jake Hamilton, who is the Senior Vice President at Lone Wolf Technologies. And before I open it up, we are coming to you live today. And I know that many of our fellow realtors and communities and neighbors are again in the wake of some challenges with storms, and we would be remiss if we didn't just acknowledge that our thoughts and prayers are with you all. I'm coming to you from Georgia now, and our state and the surrounding states have been experiencing much of the weather, and so as we are going to continue to rebound and keep moving forward, we know that some are faced with rebounding beyond the business world, but we're going to inspire you today. And Jake, I want you to start it off by giving us some great news that's happening at Lone Wolf. And thank you for your sponsorship today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Deanne, and thanks to the team at RISMedia. First off, to echo Deanne, do want to keep everyone in Florida and across the South that's been impacted by Helene and Milton incoming in our thoughts and prayers, and reminding everyone to keep safe out there. Heed the word of any local authorities, but we'll be keeping y'all in our thoughts as everything comes on through. But it's a really exciting time right now at Lone Wolf Technologies. You know, we're excited about the market rebound. We're excited about interest rates coming down. We're excited about getting some more inventory out there so that our customers, agents, brokers in the industry can help people find home. We have been spending the last few years really focused on revamping our technology suite, modernizing our technology, and that kind of has all come together in July with the launch of Lone Wolf Foundation. Lone Wolf Foundation is first of its kind experience in real estate, where a whole bunch of disparate technologies, the tools that you know and love from Lone Wolf, whether it's Lone Wolf back office or transaction management or front office, the things that you need to manage your contacts in your business have all been brought together into one platform. So that means that with a single login, with a consistent user experience, you can get access to the tools and technologies that you use to manage your brokerage, to drive your business forward, all in one place on a modern stack in a way that makes real estate technology simple and allows you and your agents and your teams to really focus in on the business of helping buyers and sellers find home and transact, and help people make their dreams, make their homes, make their memories happen. So we're excited to be presenting this today. Really thankful for the opportunity to partner with Riz and Deanne and Scott and Shauna and bring y'all some timely content as the market turns around and we get transactions moving again.
Thank you, Jake, and we appreciate all that you and Lone Wolf do through all market cycles and through all rebounds, because this is something that we're used to throughout our real estate industry. And, you know, as we were preparing for coming together today, I couldn't help but be reminded of the Zig Ziglar quote. You know, it's not how hard you fall, but it's how high you bounce, right? And each time we bounce and we just keep moving forward and we learn and we grow. And there's some key essentials that happens no matter what is happening in our industry, that the waves have come and they will continue to come as our business is always so cyclical. But, you know, one of the things that in prep with this team, we talked about, you know, there's something at the center of it all, no matter what else is going on, in its mindset. And it's how you view things. So I'd really like to open up today. And, you know, Scott, I'd like to toss it to you first, have you give us a little bit more background on who you are, your company, where you're located, and then tell us about mindset.
Okay. Well, I got started in the real estate business in 1988. So I've seen a few changes over the years, starting with no phones, no email, no internet, to where we are today, right? Going through the Great Recession, a couple of other recessions, but a lot of changes in our business since I got started. So change is nothing new to me in our industry. And this is something else that we're just going to have to deal with, like we've dealt with so many other things over the time, over the years. So, and over time. But one of the things that I like to instill in our team and in our agents and even in our kids is, if it's to be, it's up to me. And you have to go out and you have to do the things that's required to have a successful career, have a successful life, have a successful family. So that's kind of the mindset that I approach each day with. And what am I going to do today to make an impact on somebody else's life so that they'll be better at the end of the day? So that's how I kind of judge my mindset, and it gets me in the right frame every morning.
Fantastic, true leader right there. And I can tell you too, it's each time we have a change come, we think, how in the world will we do things now? This thing called internet, this thing called, phones, fax, right? You remember back in the days where you had your first
Website.
You got it. You got it. And having the opportunity to come together and learn from pros like you keeps us fed. Mindset is that constant. Shauna, you always pick us up. You are epitome of mindset. I've watched you through the years. So kind of give us a little bit of your perspective on mindset and how you're leading your team through these changes and moving forward.
Yeah, I think that change, people that are successful in real estate thrive on change. And it is one of the things that as soon as you think you got it figured out in this industry, it all gets flipped on its head. And so much of change revolves around fear, because it's different and it's unknown and it's scary. And so as leaders, it is incredibly important that we provide a level of certainty to our people, right? We show up, game face on, every single day, regardless of what we're thinking or feeling on the inside. And what we stress all the time is that if you are going to be successful, there's really three components. There's the mindset component, there's the skill set component, and then there's the discipline component. And everything starts with having your head in the right place every single day. And there's lots of different ways that you can get yourself there. Anyone that's performing at a high level, they have their routines, and we can talk more about that if anyone has an interest in that. But it is those three things. And if you can manage your mindset, your skill set, and have the discipline to show up every day and do it whether or not you want to, everything else takes care of itself.
Excellent. And it does. It requires that balance. I loved what you said. As professionals in this industry, we thrive on change. It's probably what drew us to it. No 2 days are ever the same, right? That's what we look forward to. You never know what opportunity is going to come before you. I remember recently reading something that John Featherstone had written not too long ago or been interviewed for, and he was talking about how opportunity is at the core of what we do. And I think you just really hit on that so beautifully. When it's not just a job, when it's just not even a career, but it's your calling, and you want to show up every day to help lead others, then it's mighty rewarding on the back end. Well, let's take it now from having that right mindset, showing up every day with the right attitude, the right actions, getting ready now into really focusing on your skill sets and your business planning and how you map out the path ahead of you, right? You've got to know where you're going in order to get there. So, Shauna, let me just kind of segue back to you and tie in with leading from mindset into how you approach business planning. And then, Scott, I'm going to take it over to you, okay?
So October is the real estate new year, right? The new year doesn't start in January. If you're going to start your year in January, you're already a quarter behind. So everything that we're doing right now is really what sets us up for success in 2025. It is incredibly important. I'm sure that everyone that's on this call is already getting into that business planning mindset. You're meeting with your agents, looking at your budgets, trying to figure out, what is the end of this year going to look like, and how do we create the momentum that we need to make sure that we can keep moving forward. And I think what is incredibly important is that we focus on our agents, we focus on their action plans, but we also have to dedicate time to thinking about the why. Why are we here? Why are we showing up every day? Why is this so important to us? Because there's a million things that we could be choosing to do at this very moment in time instead of what we're doing. And so keeping that front and center is incredibly important. And in addition to having your vision and having your action plan, I think it's really important to think about what resources do you have? What tools do you have? What type of finances do you have to invest? What do you want to pull out of it? But then also the most important piece is the accountability piece, because a lot of us are really good planners. We're really good dreamers, but where we fail because it's uncomfortable and we don't like it is the accountability part. And so, having someone within your company, having someone within your life that's going to call you out and say, you said you were going to do these things. Are you doing them? And checking in with them on a regular basis. I feel that is incredibly important. And the final kind of thought that I'm having around a lot of this is when the settlement happened, there was a lot of lists that were created. So there's 179 things that you do for a client. And we've been talking to our agents about not the importance of the fact that you schedule a home inspection or, that you, you follow up on showings, whatever the lists are, but really the value that you bring to the table. And when you are creating your business plan for success in 2025, the value you bring is you. And understanding that what we do every day is so important that someone is willing to pay for it for the next 30 years of their life, right? So when you approach your business plan and you approach your business with that mindset, I think it helps to really put things in perspective.
Well said. And for those that might have joined in a few minutes late, Sean reminded us this is Happy New Year right now. We are right in the middle of October, which is Realtors New Year. We are planning for January 1. We're not going to wait 60 days. We are already well into it. Scott, I know you have been spending a lot of time with your sales associates and already really kind of getting your finger on the pulse of where they're at and how to move them forward in their business. So share with us some of the great things that you've been doing. I was really impressed hearing about it.
Yeah, so we are an agent training and development company. So we have trainings every Monday. We have Talk It Up Tuesday where agents can come to our brokers with any questions they have about the market every other Tuesday. And then every Wednesday, we do a real estate information exchange where we get the agents caught up on the numbers, what's happening in the market, what the national headlines are, what's happening on the news, what they're reading in the media, and dispelling what's happening in our area against what everybody's perceiving. So there's a lot of misperceptions out in the marketplace, and it's our job as agents to educate the public as to what's really going on, because every market is local and even hyper-local in some cases. But as part of our last quarterly meeting, we came up with a feedback form, and on the feedback form, we had 12 areas that we wanted the agents to rank themselves on a scale of 1 to 10. And then we sit down with them and go over each of those categories to find out why they felt that they were a 2 or 9. And going through these cards with the agents and with our leadership team, we found 4 areas that were critical that the agents felt that they were lacking in. Number 1 was lead generation. Number 2 was marketing. Number 3 was presentations to both buyers and sellers. And lastly, you hit on it earlier, was budgeting. So in our business planning that we've been doing since our inception, we are going to be focusing on those areas, having top producers come in, having panels to share their best practices with the other agents so that they become better at presentations. We're bringing in a financial planner to go over budgeting with them. And then we have different people talking about what they're doing for lead generation. And in that, I've started agents with a 5-5-5 campaign. So it's 5 texts, 5 emails, 5 phone calls every day to your database to start engagement. And the text messages are going to be more conversational with people. And then the emails will be more on a professional, hey, did you know that home equity has gone up 30% in your neighborhood the last 2 years. You want to have a professional equity analysis report prepared for you. And then the phone calls are just check-in phone calls kind of thing. But if you get into the habit of doing those 15 things before you leave your house, or the first thing when you come into the office, you're going to have a successful day at the end. So we're going to continue with that with the agents, maybe even add another 5 in, where you reach out to 5 different agents across the country to set up a referral network with them on with people who are migrating into your area. So find out where agents are located outside of your area that are transporting people into your area. So maybe it'll be the 5555 campaign.
I like it. Hey, just add a little bit more, you'll get another 5 and 5, and then you'll have it all for 25.
Right, there you go.
There you go. I want to, before we move on to the next topic, I want to touch on just a couple of things there, because I heard some really key kind of overlaps between you two, and it's the relationship, right? The business planning part of the relationship and being able to have meaningful conversations. As I always say, training is what transfers knowledge, but coaching is what really transforms the person. And I'm intrigued that, and just really want everyone to take a moment and listen to what both Shauna and Scott have said, because when Scott was sharing with us in our prep calls, that they are intentionally stopping and listening to what's on the agent's minds and what matters most. And, you came away, and I just want to restate them, and so everybody can write those down in their notes. This was in Scott's company, but it was the 4 most important areas was lead gen, marketing, buyer and seller presentations, and then budgeting with your agents. And for everyone on the call, do you know what is the most important priorities in your agents' minds? I know that's something at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Georgia Properties we've been doing as well. We've been taking groups of our agents at different levels of production and bringing them in, and instead of just trying to provide them what we feel they need in this time, really listening, and then trying to be able to relate to what they need most. And Shauna, your conversations about giving them feedback and letting them understand that we need to practice this. It's not just about having a list. How are we then articulating that list in a meaningful way that our clients and consumers for 30, 40 years, legacies to come, will know the value there as to what we do. So some really great nuggets there. Jake, before we kind of pull off of business planning, obviously technology is always a part of business planning. And I'm going to do a little teaser, because everybody's got to stay on to the very end, because I know you're going to give us something really special as a thank you at the end. But just any nuggets on when agents are planning their technology in their business planning that you can offer that just help them? Again, I liked how Shauna said it, keep it simple, and keep it, able to be in the grasp of your hand. So anything you want to offer on business planning front?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing when it comes to planning for technology is finding what works right for you. I think one of the approaches we've taken with Foundation is it's intentionally an open ecosystem. We know that no one technology company is ever going to have every answer for you. We would love it if we did. We would absolutely love for you to buy every single thing we have, but there's going to be something that works really well in your market. There's going to be a tool that just fits the way you run your business well. I think it's taking this time, as Shauna said, real estate new year, to step back and say, what do I need? What's critical to my business? What are the things that truly help me get deals done? The things that help me sit at a table with a buyer or seller and win that business? The tools that help me manage through a transaction, and prioritize that. Chasing the latest kind of whiz-bang new feature, the latest product, and thinking technology is going to solve it, is never the answer. But taking the time to plan your business and then say, what are the tools I really need to support what I'm doing, is the right way to think about it, and the way to make sure that technology is helping you succeed, not technology getting in the way and just being one more thing for you to learn how to use.
Thank you, and so well said. Find what works for you. Don't continually chase something new, and keep your eyes open on the horizon, right? Because there will continue to be evolutions, and there will be new technology, and that's how we've all evolved to be able to serve our consumers better. But great comments there on the technology front, because I know that is something big that we are always asked every year that it comes around with our business planning with our associates. So here's one of the fun questions for sort of middle of our conversation today. Instead of saving it for the end, but everybody wants to know what you as leaders have in your crystal ball and some forecasting in the world ahead. And I know that's not the easiest thing to do, but I know when we hear your responses, it's going to come back to some tried and true practices. So Scott, let me toss it right back to you and take it away.
Okay. Well, here locally, we are seeing fewer sales the last 2 years. And I think with where interest rates are going to be going next year, if you could ever predict interest rates, they're probably going to come down. There's going to be more buyers, so therefore we're going to have more sales next year. So what agents really need to do today is focus on their business, to get geared up, to get ready, to get the technology pieces in place so that when the sales do rebound, that they're in a position to take advantage of the market. And so getting, again, their presentations down, getting their scheduling down, getting their activities down so that they'll be poised for success, because I believe we're going to have more sales. We can't have 2 years of sales that are similar to 1995 in a row. They're going to come back, right? And so we need to be out talking to potential sellers. We need to be talking to potential buyers, having home buying seminars, home selling seminars. So again, you're at the forefront of somebody's mind when they think of real estate. And one of the things that I tell my agents and that I believe in myself is, when you think of me, don't think of real estate, but when you think of real estate, think of me. And so you want to be that person for your database, your sphere. So get all your things in alignment, get your database put together. Again, start communicating to people, because you want to be the agent of choice and the trusted advisor to them in all things real estate when the market comes back, and it will. It always does.
We're selling a lot of houses nationwide. I mean, we are just now normalizing. We're getting back into some manageable times. And I really appreciate what you said about not just waiting on the sidelines, but getting out there now, being prepared, being ready, start having those conversations, not just waiting till point of sale or that opportunity where we are called in for that move, but the consultative opportunities that have always been before us, now even more so, allow us to really take those times and to be setting up those meaningful appointments to ensure that we're helping people plan for their real estate dreams. So Shauna, take it from there and share with us kind of what your crystal ball looks like and some of the forecasting that you're doing in your part of the world.
So this question always makes me laugh. I get this question a lot. And I wish I had the crystal ball. Who would have thought we would have gone right from a pandemic where we thought, everything stopped, to having the best markets we've ever had, to the biggest drop off, right? That I feel like is even more impactful than the recession, more difficult to manage than we were managing through the recession, to a settlement that we thought was going to turn everything upside down, which maybe really hasn't, so I don't talk in long terms, because every time I do, it doesn't happen anyways. But what I really focus on are facts over feelings. What I'm noticing right now is that for the bulk of this year, we have been trending behind, kind of like Scott is saying, with pending offers. And for the month of September, we're actually starting to see that turn. And I feel like, I said we shouldn't do facts over feelings, but I do feel like we have turned the corner. For 2025, we are budgeting just for a very slight uptick, but for the most part, because we're conservative and we don't want to get in front of our skis, we are not, I don't think the interest rates are going to have a huge impact, other than I think it is going to create some level within, right, the public sentiment that things are okay. Things are settling. It's going to help to eliminate some of the uneasiness that I feel like a lot of the buyers specifically are, at least from what I'm sensing, buyers are uneasy. The interest rates will help settle them down, which will help settle everyone down and get us focused on what we need to be focused on moving forward.
Well said, and really great point there. I mean, as professionals and leaders, we are always trying to start with the end in mind, right? And help people build a meaningful full business plan. As we like to say here, we like to help you from launch to legacy and be able to have that succession planning. But you pulled out a really key topic that I actually was doing a little research before the call. And if you think about it, about every 7 to 10 years, going back to, whether it was the Depression, the World War, stagnation, recession, savings and loan crisis, dot-com bubble, the 2008 financial crisis, then here come the 10s, we've got the recovery, then we've got interest rate hikes in 2016-18, then you've got pandemic, and then you've got the post, pandemic supply chains and the low inventory and inflation that we're faced with, and then of course bringing us up to where we're at now with the NAR settlement and market adjustments. And so we know that as we're planning for these long-term successful businesses for career agents, not just hobbyists, I do think hobbyists will find this extremely challenging time in this market, and that is okay. But for the full-time professionals and the true, real estate leaders and consultative agents that want to be a part of people's lives and bring them home to their greatest financial investment that most will ever own in their lives, this is that time to use this springboard to continue to have more and more meaningful conversations that we're always having, but now it's just in that reset time. And I'm excited to hear the conversations that I know we're having at our company and asking our agents to share with us what they're hearing from consumers. And so I think with my crystal ball is we're going to look back a year from now and go, the growth opportunity that we have had, and it's made us more resilient and it's made us more intentional. And yes, it's made us kind of get through and be tough, but also be flexible and adaptable to know we've got to articulate our value better. My fortune ball is really relating to the professionalism of our industry, and I'm very excited about that. So with that being said, Jake, you got any fortune ball moments you want to give us in forecasting?
I think y'all hit most of them. I think even as we do our own 2025 planning, similar boat of projecting a gradual recovery. I think rates coming down will have a bit of an impact. We won't see the surge that we saw in late 20 and in 21. We'll finally see some recovery from the lows of 23 and 24. But Dean, I think your point of the professional agent, the one who can truly come alongside and deliver exceptional value, has huge opportunity in 2025. Personally, we just moved from Houston up to Dallas and worked with an absolutely incredible agent in Houston. And thinking about what she was able to do for us, making a big move, making a big transition with a toddler and everything going on there, from guiding us on what to do with our home, how to prepare it for a sale, negotiating through the process, delivering value every step of the way. And she's someone that we've now referred to another 3 or 4 people in the area down there who are also making moves. And it's the thing where, you kind of step back and say, people think about, oh, well, what could it look like if I do this without an agent? Having just gone through that with an excellent agent, I step back and it's not, oh, how could we do this without an agent? But instead it's how could we do this without an agent? It wouldn't even be possible. So I think that's really the thing for 25 for me is, how can we make sure that people are understanding the value, that they're getting that excellent service? And here at Lone Wolf, we're just trying to make sure that we've got technology that makes it easy to do business so that the agents and the brokers out there can really focus on that customer experience and deliver the experience that I personally had a few months ago.
Jake, I want to just pause for a minute. Now, if you all watching didn't see that huge smile and that sense of joy and excitement that Jake and his family had with this relocation move that could have been stressful, could have been, and with a toddler, did I pick that up too?
Yes, with the toddler.
And those are the moments that we want to keep delivering to others, so that is the kind of experience that as you look back on your life, you're going to have these joyous milestones and moments moving forward. So I kind of tossed that over to Jake. He didn't know I was going to throw him that question, but that was beautiful. Thank you, Jake. All right, let's go on to another topic that we know is one. Yes, tag in there, Scott, chime in.
One of the things that that we did this year is we had a serious sit down with a lot of our agents, not only the ones that came to our business planning, our quarterly meeting, and are we coming to our business planning, but agents that were not coming to our trainings and their productivity had gone down. And you hit on it, you called it a hobbyist. And we made a deliberate and intentional decision to cut those agents from our company. And this year we've returned 50 licenses back to the state, to our referral company, or the agents went to a different company. And we used Lone Wolf in our productivity reports to the comparison year over year, the last 3 years with our agents, and we saw their productivity going down. We saw that they weren't attending trainings. So we said, you know what, they're going to be a liability in this new marketplace. So we returned those licenses to the state. So we're serious about not having any hobbyists here at Gateway. We want to have the true professionals that are going to impact the lives, like Jake's life was impacted by his agent in Houston. So it's going to make us a stronger company at the end of the day, and that's what we want to have.
I really appreciate you sharing that, and it is okay to free the future of those that are not fully committed to this business, or have those meaningful conversations and say, to be entrusted with taking people's largest financial investment and moving them forward, you know, we need you fully committed. We need you in this full-time, committed, being there to be able to answer questions. And I know oftentimes, you know, we will have associates that are part-time, but as I always say, what is your goal? What is your business plan to be full-time or to be fully committed? We understand there may be a time where someone is transitioning from a prior career or what have you, but that's a big element. So I'm glad you highlighted that, Scott. And just because this is such a big topic right now, I mean, Shauna, is there anything else you want to touch on before we segue from business planning? And if not, I want to kind of take us over to sort of that growth of your company. You know, Scott just shared that he's making certain to kind of narrow down, to weed out, you know, to make certain that the retention is staying focused on your top producing agents. And we're known by the company we keep, right? What is it? The standard is the lowest common denominator that you're willing to accept, right? So we've got to raise that bar as we move forward. So Shauna, give us some thoughts there.
I love what you said, free your future. We're gonna free your future from real estate. Yeah, I think that's fantastic. And I think that is one of the biggest benefits that we're going to see coming from everything that we've all just been through is, you know, for years and years and years, this has been this conversation about how do we increase professionalism. And it's been something that as an industry, we haven't been able to quite wrap our heads around because we don't have quote unquote control over our people because they're not our employees. And I think the market now is poised perfectly for the professional agent to shine in a way that they have never shined. And really the sky is the limit for the full-time professional people that are making this a career, not a hobby, not right, something that they're just planning to do because they saw that it looked cool on HGTV. So yeah, I think that's all really, really positive stuff for us moving forward. We've been very focused on trying to bring back and create community within our company. The pandemic, you know, hit us hard with I think literally every industry, people scattering and going home. And we've always been a company that has been relationship focused. We outwardly admit we are not a technology company. We are a people company. That is where our focus is. And Jake, you said it perfectly, right? The technology supports the people. And so trying to find ways that we can bring our people back together so that they can grow from each other, learn from each other, support each other. And that fits into our business planning on what we want to do with our office space moving forward. So people have not come back to the office since the pandemic like they were before. And the technology is so good that they don't have to. You can do so much from your iPhone. You don't need your MLS book anymore, and you don't need your desk phone in order to do your job. You can do a great job watching your child perform, you know, at a track meet, and then you gotta, you know, wait 2 hours before they're on the track again. There's a lot you can do there from that cell phone. So, but how do we make the office a place of importance? Because this business can be lonely. And it's why teams do really well, but we also have independent agents that do well, but they need the support of others. And so when we're looking at leases expiring, we're trying to determine how do we combine an office, how do we remodel an office to make it a collaborative space with a lot of energy. So that's where we're spending a lot of our time when we think about what does 2025 look like.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Shauna. Scott, let me ask you a couple of questions from, you know, the age-old, you know, recruiting starts with retention, right? You know, in order to grow, you've got to retain the loyal base that has invested their career with you and entrusted you with their career. But of course, attrition is natural. And so, you know, talk to us a little bit about how you balance the growth with retention and recruiting, and sort of what your 2025 business goals are for your company.
Well, the one thing that we discussed before was you have to prune in order to grow, right? You trim the bushes so they can come back and grow the next year. So we feel that we positioned ourselves in such a way that now, with the number of agents that we have and their productivity levels, that we're going to be able to recruit other productive agents to our model based upon the success that the agents have. So they're going to have more transactions per agent. They're going to have a higher income average per agent. So again, we can talk about the things that we do in our training programs and in our one-on-one coaching that we do to help people become more successful. So basically, we call ourselves a collaborative professional development and training company that's focused on agent success. And so by having the numbers that we are going to have at the end of the year, we're going to be able to recruit, we believe, and retain the agents that we have. And there's a lot of agents that have said that we should have done this a long time ago. So it's getting support and buy-in from the agents that we have. And then again, when we did these feedback forms, agents that are meeting with us are like, I can't believe you're taking the time to sit down and spend an hour meeting with me to go over this stupid little feedback form. Well, again, it's building a relationship, it's building a trust, and it's helping us build their business. And then we're developing training programs around all of these things that we're hearing from our agents, not just our business plan that we have going in the middle of November this year. So I think it's been a great exercise that we've done, and I would encourage others to do it as well.
Excellent. And a tie-in with Shauna talking about the fact bringing agents back in and attracting them into the office, into what Scott's doing with these meaningful meetings. You know, when you reach out and ask for that time or that coffee or just that one-on-one space, you know, getting back face to face. There's nothing more meaningful. Although we are honored to be coming to you today live, wherever you're at, there's nothing more impactful than when you can be live with someone. But for the people that you're not seeing in your organizations, you know, reach out and pick up the phone and call them. We've done something as simple for our last two larger events that we've been doing, sort of collaborative roundtables and talking about what our agents really have on their hearts and their minds and what they feel that we need to be delivering for them. You know, we've asked every manager to call every single one of the invitees and to know specifically, not just to rely on the email, not just to see if they RSVP'd, but to make that personal outreach. They're our family. They matter. We care. We want to know where they're at. And if they can't attend this, then we're trying to intentionally get them into another session so that everybody knows. And that's how we truly feel. We kind of followed that back up with just an opportunity. I wanted to call every single one of the agents as well. And so we've divided it with our leadership team. So again, let them know that this is something we put together for them, some of these collaborative events that we're doing so that they can come and mastermind with the best of the best. And we're taking it with our top tier associates. We have ample training, of course, for our new agents and we do a lot of intentional with our middle and rising tier. But this has been a chance, I think now more than ever, being able to really lean in to those associates that have been loyal through all these changes. It's an exciting opportunity. And so pick up the phone and let them know that you're there for them and you want to help them grow. You want to help them strategize. And some of these conversations may start to lead to succession planning, which is interesting. You may not know it until you pick up the phone and someone that's been in the business a very, very long time may say, wow, you know, part of my conversation really needs to be about how am I going to pass my business on to next? And what can we do to really position for a long time future? And it might not just be this year, it might be 10 years away, but take advantage of those great growth opportunities within your world. Shauna, you touched on footprint, office sizes. Obviously, I know that is something that is on the minds of any leader that's watching or any of the managers. You know, the days of having 150 to 250 square feet per agent, they may still exist in some places, but for the most part, that has really, really shrunk down, right? It's been pruned. And it's efficiency because we've shifted our resources over into great products like Lone Wolf, thank you, Jake, and technologies and so forth that's out there. But you said it so well. our associates can transact wherever they are, and we can communicate and help them wherever they are. So kind of tell me a little bit about your strategy with your offices and your footprint, and make certain you too tell, because I don't know that we touched on this in the beginning, the size of your company and the number of offices, because I think that'll give everyone a frame of reference listening. Take it away,
Yeah.
Shauna.
So we cover the majority of Wisconsin. We have about 900 agents, 30-ish offices, and it's always, you know, both of those things are a bit of a moving target. We plan very far out. We're typically planning 3 to 5 years out with our office space and trying to identify where can we create synergies between offices, and then we start to partner managers, and we start to try and get the agents partnering together so that they get used to each other, so to speak. We just actually had this conversation yesterday, myself and my regional managers and my president. We used to have a lot of contests in between offices. And, you know, so it was like this office would challenge this office, and then they would, you know, have a dinner, you know, based upon who won what, right? And then the one office would cook for the other office, type of a thing. And now that we're talking about trying to combine offices, what we realized is that there's still some competition there. The people that have been, right, the longevity, and they're like, wait, what? You want me to do what with who? You know, and so that it causes you to backtrack and think, okay, maybe we need to reevaluate what we're doing within a company to create kind of what we thought was creating synergy in the past and worked beautifully in the past. Maybe that doesn't work moving forward if we now want them to think about being on one team. So that, you know, just an interesting thing that kind of came out of the blue. But we really start to have, it takes, to have the transition work well, it takes years, where everyone starts to get used to each other, and not that they don't work really well together in the field, because they do, but it's a different mindset. And every office, even if it's only they're 20 minutes apart, they have a different culture. So blending those cultures takes time.
Well said. Scott, dovetailing on that conversation, because I know we've talked a little bit about your spaces.
Sure. So we were lucky. In 2019, we had 2 of the 5 office leases come up for renewal. So we were able to downsize those office locations prior to the pandemic. And then this year coming up, we have 2 more office leases coming up for renewal. So we're going to be analyzing the space, the location, the size of those offices to conform to what the market is today. So our offices that we have now, we have large training spaces. They're open so agents can come in. We've got, you know, 96-inch screen TV so that we can do Zoom calls and so forth. So and everybody in the room can see. So you know, we're looking to see what locations we're going to have for those new offices, what features they're going to have, if they're going to have private offices or not. So just depending on what the agent's needs are for those offices, and then kind of go from there. So in 2025, we'll have a couple of changes coming up, and you know, it appears that the office market for what we're looking for, prices are less than what we're paying now. So it'll be a good opportunity to save money. In what we don't know what the commission structures are going to look like, you know, in a year from now. So we think that we're in a good position from that standpoint. So yep, always looking at new opportunities to see what we can do to save money and create more value for the agents at the same time.
And there is that care and that sensitivity, Shauna, you hit on it, when we've got 2 families, an office and an office, that may be overlapping in many regards, but they have been there, they have had, like, they have grown up there, they have spent years together, they've worked together. And then when you are trying to meld the 2 in order to bring some more efficiencies, you know, it is the blending of 2 families. So having those conversations sensitively and thoughtfully, obviously it's a business decision, and a lot is at play with the economics, but doing things such as tracking the number of associates that are coming in. What times are they coming in? Where are they gathering in the offices? You know, where do they kind of hub? It's sort of like when you sell a house and you know, have this beautiful home, but everyone congregates in the kitchen, right? When you have a party. So we've been doing a lot of research and a lot of analytics on that as well, because we've been 28 locations. But the conversations with our associates is key, and knowing that we're trying to provide them, again, back to the technology piece, the value in return for the bricks and mortar and the square footage, whether it's more staff, more support, more resources, more marketing, what is our value proposition back if they're home away from home? The office is now smaller from that standpoint. When you can get your associates involved in that discussion, they're business people. They'll go, I get it. I get it. And we go from there. Jake, from the technology side and all the companies you see, are you continuing to see kind of a shrinking of the office size across the nation? Because I know y'all get to see globally a lot of companies. What do you see from an outsider, insider, teammate, partner,
Yeah.
but looking in our side of the business?
It's definitely been interesting. We did a number of acquisitions in 2021, which led to us having, I think at one point we had 20 different offices across the US and Canada, which was just wild. Lots of fun unwinding some of those leases, and we've definitely done that to try and be fiscally conscious and make sure that we're not investing in office space that's not used, and instead we want to go invest in product and support and the things that matter to our customers. I think for us, the biggest thing is if you look pre-pandemic, an office was the place for collaboration and culture. And now the question that we have been working to answer is how do you drive collaboration and how do you seed culture in a world where everyone's not coming to the same place every single day? And for us, what that's looked like is as we've pulled down offices, not saying, hey, the spend is gone entirely, but saying, one, what can we do to get our teams together to work on big, important projects? And then separately, what can we do to, in different locations, get people together just to have that feeling of home, of unity, of working together as a team? So we've redeployed office spend to do things like, get our crew that's up in Minneapolis together and go to a Twins game. Do the types of things that let them really get to know each other beyond a face on a screen and build those relationships, because those are the things that, when you've got something hard, you've got a problem to figure out, that really lets you bridge when it's not just, a digital avatar that you're working with, but someone that you've sat and broken bread with and spent time with. It goes a lot further. So that's what we've been doing. I do think corporate wise, we are seeing more and more companies call for a return to the office. You start to see it in financial services. You hear about banks doing it. There's more and more of that. That's not on our horizon, just given the number of people we have in so many different locations. But I do think that you'll continue to see more in-office presence with companies, never back to what it was, but to 3 days a week, show up and you can be hybrid and you can have the flexibility, but still, again, driving culture and collaboration.
Rebounding and bouncing in new, different ways. And you couldn't have led us to the next topic I wanted to kind of talk to, and you just went right to the heart of it, which is culture. And whether, you are leading or operating one office, large office that everyone centers around, that maybe people are drawn into more, or 3 or 4 locations, or you're like one of our leaders on today that has multiple locations. And so maybe smaller offices, but you're in the communities, and how you're balancing that. And Scott, the way you described your company as a collaborative training center, I want you to say it because you articulated the definition of culture and how you describe yourself. So start back with that and then tell us a little bit about, what culture means to you, what you intentionally do to foster it. It's definitely in one of your, probably the core value that's at the core of who you are. So take it away with that. Let's have a little conversation about culture, because it is critical as we rebound.
It really is. And I think it's really, again, collaboration, everybody shares so everyone becomes successful. And we say that, when we interview new agents and they come in, somebody else is going to be sitting in that seat in a couple of years, and we want you to treat them as you were treated by agents here in the company. So if they're not someone who's willing to give back, is willing to contribute back into the community, and then contribute to the other agent success in the office, and that's not a good fit for us. So we try to get the right people in the company that want to be part of what we're trying to accomplish. They want to grow. They want to be continuous learners. They want to help their clients as best they can by being a knowledge broker. So knowing where the market is, what the numbers are in the market, again, how we are different from other people. So getting together a couple times a week has really, I think, helped our agents in that regard. But again, we're all about developing our agents, growing our bench from a leadership perspective, hiring from within on a leadership perspective, and then those people giving back to the agents and into our community. So that's what we're all about. And again, we build relationships with the agents and with our staff. And so we know what's going on in their lives, so we can ask questions about what's going on. We have a particular staff member who had a bunch of frequent flyer miles. So they're in Paris and then they're going to Prague. So of course I knew that going in, and then we'll have conversations when they come back. So you have to be present as the leader of the company. You have to know what your agents are going through and what's happening in their lives, so that you can, help them if needed, if there's a medical issue or if there's a family crisis or whatever. And then also connect them with an agent that's been through something similar, that they can help them in their personal lives, not just in their business lives. So that's kind of what we've created, and all of our leadership takes that same initiative with the agents in their offices.
Beautiful. It's grounded in authenticity, and you can sense there's a lot of trust and a lot of care within your company. And I think that exudes. You can't buy culture, right?
Right.
And every day you have to show up and craft it and cultivate it. So Shauna, tell us a little bit in your world, your philosophy with culture and what it looks like to you.
Yeah, culture is everything. I think everyone would agree upon that. We have very different cultures. Our footprint, if I were to drive from our southernmost office to our northernmost office, it'd be a 7-hour car drive. And the markets are very different. We have metro markets and we have really small rural markets. So what I attempt to do is to be as in touch as I possibly can with every agent. I do a lot of what I call wellness checks, and I'll just call them and I'll say, this is a wellness check. And then they kind of laugh and I'm like, no, seriously, how are you? And right then that conversation, expands from there. I try to do a lot of what I call CEO roundtables, which are listening sessions, which we talked about before, which I think are incredibly important. And then trying to take that information from what the needs of the agents are, and then delivering on that, moving forward. So it's culture is the number one thing that I try and work on every single day, because once you start to lose that, it's really, really hard to get it back.
That's right. And so we've talked today, I think everyone that's listening has been hearing, as much as we've talked about some key business strategies, there's a lot of compassion that's coming from the leaders that have joined us today, because they truly care about their people. I know we do here in Georgia, and that's something that, it's the Maya Angelou, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And it's true. It's not just a beautiful adage, but it is so true. And they need to feel supported professionally and personally, and the balance of that. So I appreciate you both. And, it was interesting as I was listening earlier, Scott, from your Talk It Up Tuesdays to your real estate exchanges to the events that, Shauna, you're building in your world, and even, Jake, listen to what your teams are doing, so that y'all can try to come together and build those meaningful relationships, because that's going to ground the ability to trust one another, to feel collaborative, to be accountable, to know each other, and to keep moving forward and keep rebounding to all the opportunities ahead. So as we're winding it down, I always like to sort of ask you and put each of you on the spot. Every year, I like to kind of come up with a word of the year. And so my word for next year, I've already started putting it in, because as Shauna opened up, we are already into the new year of real estate. And so all of our events that we're doing this month with business planning and masterminding, have a grit focus. And it's not just the word grit, which is, that indomitable spirit that's willing to overcome any challenge and keep moving forward. But it's a great way. I have acronyms for everything. Mine for grit going into 2025 it is a year of growth for our associates, growth for our presentations, growth for who we are as a company, growth for our ability to connect with more and more consumers. It is also about being resilient. That is the R. We've got to be resilient, and we are. We have proven that decade after decade in our industry for the true professional. And then my I, there's lots of other great words, but it's integrity, coupled with being intentional. But without integrity, you've got got nothing, just like culture. And then I think the T for me lately has been, tenacious, but it's also been saying thank you and saying thank you to everyone that gives us the opportunity to work with them, whether it's our staff, our associates, our clients, our partners, and try to bring a little bit more gratitude. So grit is my word. And hey, I'm going to toss it to Shauna. Tell us your word for 2025.
My word for 2025 is unbecoming. So that we can unbecome everything that we should not have been, because then that will open us up to become more than we ever thought we could be.
Fantastic. Thank you. And we did not lead this panel today talking a lot about the settlement. We've been talking about it. Now it is a time that we know what's before us, and is now a time to move forward and become the best selves that we will be for our clients and each other. And I love that word. I don't think I've ever heard anybody use that word. Very unique. All right, Scott.
That's what Instagram is for.
Love it. All right. We'll see a post from Shauna later today with her word of 2025.
Yeah.
Scott, tell us your word for 2025.
So one of the things that happened in 2022 when rates started to go up in October, and through 2023 when we hit our peaks of interest rates in the recent years, was everybody said you had to survive till 2025. And I didn't like that at all. And I said, I want you to thrive through 2025. And so this year, what happened was Jennifer, who's our director of business operations, said, hey, let's make our business plan theme thrive this year. So our word for Gateway this year is thrive. We're gonna continue to thrive through 2025.
I like it. Those are great ones. All right, Jake, you're going to bring us home not only with your word of the year and leads into your mindset, but also I know you have a special offering for everyone that has come on today. So I'd like to pass it over to you for your word and offering, and then I'll close this out. But take it away, Jake.
Awesome. Well, my word, or maybe more accurately phrase, because I just talk too much and I'm a bit too verbose regardless, is adapt to grow. I think if you look at 2024, it was a year of so much uncertainty in rates, uncertainty in market, uncertainty in lawsuits and settlements and DOJ involvement and all of those things. And I think 25 is going to be a year of certainty. We're going to finally understand what the impacts of all of the shuffle and all of the chaos of not just 2024, but really the last 3, 4, 5 years has resulted in 25 and beyond, and what a new normal starts to look like. I think for us as a tech provider, it's like that focus of adapt to grow is really about being ready for whatever is maturing, whatever is coming, and saying, okay, great, we're seeing certainty, we're seeing trends. Let's make sure that our products are equipping our brokers and our agents to deal with what this new reality is actually shaping out to be. So with that, and ties into a bit of the offer we have today, one of our first things with that adapt to grow theme is we've launched our new buyer agent club. And that is a set of trainings and tips and tools really focused on helping our agent customers and your agents win and nurture buyer leads well, and have those value conversations, have those process conversations, and cope with and adapt to this new normal. So love for people to go sign up for that. It is free. It is something that we're offering to our Lone Wolf customers to help them be successful for the rest of 24 and into 2025. So lwolf.com/buyersagentclub, as you see on here. And then with that, we've also gone in and we've added some exclusive content to Cloud CMA. So as you're out there doing reports with your buyer clients, helping them understand the process and the value and what it looks like, some new content pages. So scan the QR code, download those Cloud CMA report pages, include them in your reports, and ultimately deliver some incredible experiences to buyers. And we want to make sure we're doing everything we can to support your agents and our clients in that process. So really thankful for the opportunity to join everyone today. Thankful for Deanne and for RISMedia and for Scott and Shauna and all of the insight that y'all have been able to provide on this call. So thank you.
Thank you, Jake. And again, thanks to Lone Wolf for bringing this to us today, along with the extraordinary team at RISMedia. We are so grateful to turn to RISMedia always as the trusted source and bringing us timely opportunities. Shauna and Scott, thank you for your wisdom, your knowledge, your time, your care, and for really giving us some great nuggets to take away as we're all getting ready for that normalcy and that time of balance and that time of opportunity that is before us. And so I want to thank again everyone for being in today. There will be access to this recording available to you all not too long after this. But again, thank you all. And we will keep everyone in the hard hit areas with the storms in our thoughts and prayers moving forward. But again, it's our time to keep shining and moving forward in the best ways we can and helping each other and helping our clients and our agents. Have a great day, everyone. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.